Within the past week, we have seen a spike in the backlash to companies as well supporting Pride Month, selling Pride merchandise. Joining us now is Montana State Representative Zoey Zephyr. It's nice to have you with us in the studio. You and I had actually spoken just about a month ago, right after you had found out that you were pushing to be reinstated. That wasn't happening in Montana. Where we stand this morning, it is remarkable what we've seen in the last week or two in terms of pushback on companies. They were criticized for, perhaps rainbow capitalism a couple of years ago, and now there's a criticism for embracing and supporting Pride Month. I just want to ask you specifically, Kohl's was coming under fire on social media. They had a Pride collection, had clothing, has stuff for kids. And Laura Ingraham, on another network, an opinion host, suggested on Twitter that the company does not, in her words, respect common sense or the American ideal. When you hear words like that, the American ideal and common sense, what does that say to you?
As a legislator, one of the things I think about is when these bills come forward, they get talked about as if they're very narrow. This is just about sports. This is just about healthcare for a certain age group. But what we see in moments like this is that the people who support anti-LGBTQ bills, they're not content with a single piece of policy. They want to see us removed from all stores. They want to see us removed from public life. And to me, that's why it's so important in this moment that we fight back and that our allies, both individuals and corporations, are willing to stand alongside us. Have the courage to stand up, because right now, LGBTQ people need that support.
What's your reaction when companies, corporations try to stand up and then they face the backlash that some are now facing? I mean, what do you think when you see the backlash that some are facing?
I think it's when we talk about the breadth of bills attacking the LGBTQ people, bills attacking our past when they ban our memoirs or ban our collective history in drag, bills banning our present by banning teaching about us in school or public access to bathrooms, and our future by our health care. I think the companies facing backlash are seeing a sliver of what LGBTQ people are facing with the harassment we're dealing with. And we can't put our identities back up off the shelf. So it's important that these companies are standing beside us in a moment where we're under more attacks than we have ever been.
Do you wish Target would have kept some of its merchandise on its shelves? Do you wish maybe Target would have done more?
I wish every corporation who is putting out Pride products would have the courage to understand that they have LGBTQ employees, they have LGBTQ customers, and by supporting our presence, you don't take away anything from anyone else. You just show that we belong here as well.
What do you think it is in this moment that has made not just the LGBTQ community, but specifically the trans community such a target? There are no facts out there that support that the trans community is coming after children, right? And is trying to change things. In fact, from all of our reporting and from members of the trans community I've spoken with, it's quite the opposite. People just want to be left alone to live their lives in peace and be their true selves. Why do you think there is such a focus on the trans community?
We know the joy trans people have when they're allowed to transition. We come fully into ourselves. And right now there's an effort on the right to create a boogeyman, much like they attempted to do in the 90s with policy around the anti-gay movement. And we see echoes of the same rhetoric. The same handful of detransitioners flown out, much like the same handful of ex-gays were flown out. Language in the 90s around gay people, quote, recruiting, we see resurrected here in calling trans people, quote, groomers. It's that harmful rhetoric that they're trying to resurrect, but it'll fail for the same reason. And that's because trans people, we are a part of every community. You're never far from a trans person or someone who loves us, whether you're here, whether you're in your office, or whether you're in the governor's mansion in Montana, whose own child is non-binary.
Representative, thank you. It was wonderful to have you today.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you.